Hey guys, Ike here. It's been quite some time since I last made a video. Apologies for that, by the way. I've been getting a bit too focused on making vector art. But that's beside the point. So today, I might as well talk about something that's been kind of chapping my ass for a while. Recently, DeviantArt announced that come May 20th, the site will be reformatted to DeviantArt Eclipse. For context, Eclipse is a site redesigning that's been in production for the past year or so, I think. As we making this, anyone is able to switch to using the Eclipse version of the site and also be able to switch back to it. Because after all, it's like just to test it out and such. And to get a feel for it when it ultimately ends up dropping. It's also worth noting that DeviantArt staff has also been receiving feedback from the community during this whole, basically, pre-stage, I guess, like where you can toggle Eclipse for, like, after all feedback purposes. Well, no, I just said that, but basically just to improve the system. But the thing is, during all of this, people have been protesting Eclipse with the outrage only spiking, when it was announced that DeviantArt was going to fully implement this new layout. And there's been a lot of people saying that they may leave the site. There's even like a protest going on of like people logging out of the site in order to prove the point. And so on and so on. For me, personally though, however, the issue for me isn't so much Eclipse, but rather the protesting. This may seem serious at first, after all, like this, if a lot of people are getting so mad at DeviantArt for such a big change, then there's probably something going on. But you take a step back, just take a quick step back, and you'll realize that this is just history repeating itself, because this isn't exclusive to DeviantArt, but just any site in general, whenever it goes through like one of these major format changes, this always happens. Every single time, I am not exaggerating when I say this, every time a site announces a new format change, it's always going to get protests from the user base. And then, guess what? The site rolls it out anyway, and like fast forward like a week or so, and everyone has just kind of shut up about it. And for just, oddly enough, just like they all got raptured. And I wonder why. Maybe, I don't know, maybe they got used to it. But yeah, it just happens every time. Like, and not only that, not only does it just happen constantly, like every time there's any sort of big change happening with the site, the excuses, like when I bring this up to people saying, like for example with Eclipse, it's like, listen, this always happens every site, like whenever a site goes through one of these major changes, everyone's just gonna get mad at it for a while and then it's gonna blow over. The excuses I get for like why it's not the case for that and this is something different are also ironically the exact same every time. It's always basically just like the same, oh, if it ain't broke, don't fix it sort of argument, or like them saying that the update's gonna make the site worse or something. It's like making it less user friendly, or like they're removing features or something. Yeah. The latter things, like the latter excuses, those can't really be proven, and those don't really have much validity to them if you can't even use the feature yet. Granted, there is a bit more. You could kind of validate it a bit more with Eclipse, but still not as much. It's still kind of flimsy. And as for the former of like the whole it ain't broken, fix it argument, there's a difference between fix and change. They're not fixing the site; they're changing it. And I mean, yes, there's possibilities that they're going to fix some issues to go alongside the update, like some major like issues that are that the community's been going on about. But that doesn't necessarily mean that fix and change are the same exact thing. Change doesn't even mean improvement. It can even, like, change could mean that it could be worse for all we know. And like I said, of course, Eclipse isn't the only site that's gone through, like, one of these major protests over a site change. Like I said, happened all the time. Probably the biggest example I can think of is, of course, with YouTube. Every single time they change the fucking layout of the site, or like they change one little minute feature, the Creator Studio Beta, sorry, and it's always gonna be hated. And then fast forward like a week after it's released, and everyone's just back to normal. I mean, look at. I mean, if you go all the way back to 2010, when that was like the first major format change for the site, and people fought like hell to make sure that did not happen. There are remnants of that whole protest you can find on YouTube. Well, granted, you can find pretty much all these remnants of all these protests on YouTube, but the thing is, you look back on like the pre-2010 YouTube, you would be perplexed as to why anyone would ever defend it. It is terrible by our standards today. It is like so simplistic and primitive. A more recent, simplistic is whatever. A more recent case involving this, which actually I kind of find a little bit more egregious, is with for Affinity. Because recently, I think it was like a few months ago, they went through they did like a big format change as well. And the thing is that this was actually like a complaint that a lot of people did have with the site, is the fact that the site for the longest time looked very old, to say the least. It felt primitive. It didn't feel polished at all. It lacked some of like the standards that most sites have nowadays. Like, you look at the classic version, like the legacy version of it, it is terrible compared to the updated version. But the thing is, even though they did not force this upon them, they actually made it so you could toggle between the classic and the new mode and the new layout. People still got mad at this. People still complained about this whole change, and it's like, that was like one of the main complaints of the site. And so do you want the site to change, or do you not want it to change? Like, there's no middle ground. It's one or the other. This is a black and white situation here. And I mean, yeah, I mean, not every situation is black and white, but this is definitely one. It's yes or no. But it's just, that's basically my main issue with Eclipse. It's not the project. The project I think is fine. I did dabble with Eclipse a bit, and it does actually look really good and promising. I will say there are some things that I kind of wish they would re-implement, because maybe forms on your profile page, because I have one of those set up on my DeviantArt. But really, Eclipse itself, it's a promising project. I wouldn't say that's the issue. The issue is people being stubborn and unwilling to adapt to this change. And I know change, yes, that is very scary, and it's scary, and it can be kind of not what you want, but for the most part, it's a good thing. Progress requires change. Progress leads to success. People, a phrase I've heard before is like, people demand progress, but people hate change, and that's and really, like, stuff like this, like Eclipse, really showcases that. And even with like all the overall complaints about Eclipse, even on such a large scale, it's all meaningless, because it's not the end of the world. It's just like a site. It's just like a format change, and then once it's rolled out, everyone gets used to it. The dust will settle, and then it's all back to business. And that's basically the message I kind of want to relay, is that change is good. And God, that sounds cliched as all hell, but I mean it is. Well, by it is. It's like, is that phrase cliche, or is change good? Well, yes to both. But I think that's probably gonna be it for this video. I just wanted to quickly make this. I want to make this video as like a bit of a quick rant about this whole Eclipse thing going on, because it's been kind of grinding my gears a bit for a while now. And so yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below, and feel free to subscribe if you want to see me get back into doing more of this, more YouTube content. Because I'm too busy. Apparently, I am horribly procrastinating on YouTube. But also I'm horribly procrastinating in general, just much more on YouTube. But anyways, I think that'll do it. I'm Mike Fanboy 64, and I'll be seeing you all in the next video. Later!